Texas. You may not have any idea where Kingston is because most of the planet does not know, but it's an hour northeast of here. It's on Highway 69 between Celeste and Greenville. There's a sign that says Kingston. It doesn't have population on it. When you see the Kingston sign, you're completely out of Kingston. Done. It's a blip on the radar. When this guy was born there, it was cotton fields everywhere. Everyone out there farmed cotton. That was the main crop. It still is sometimes. They farm other stuff now. Back then it was cotton. Now, this man's family farmed cotton. They were sharecroppers, which means they were really poor, especially when you consider that there were 12 brothers and sisters in his family. And then, before he could get out of high school, his dad abandoned his family. So here he is. He's in high school trying to figure out a way that he can help, but he decides he wants to join the military. Well, guess what? The military doesn't really want him. So he tried several services. They didn't want him either. But he kept trying, and then finally the Army took him in, trained him, sent him off to all kinds of places that some cotton farming kid from Kingston never thought he'd go. North Africa, then he went to Sicily. Then he wound up in France fighting Germans because it was World War II. So he's there, his best friend is there with him. They see a German soldier in a field, and his best friend goes out to meet this German soldier to bring him in. And then that's about the time they figured out that that soldier was a decoy, and other German soldiers came out of the wood line and shot his best friend right in front of him. So he got to see that. A terrible thing. And it enraged him so much, he charged those soldiers, took them out, found a German machine gun emplacement in the area, took the soldiers running that out, and then used that machine gun emplacement to take the other German soldiers out in the area. Wow. He probably shouldn't have made it through that, but he did. And throughout the course of the war, he did a lot of things like that were very dangerous, very courageous, but that saved American lives and Allied lives as well. And by the end of the war, he had done things like that so much that he became the most decorated soldier in World War II. Anybody know who he is? Audie Murphy. Yay! Okay, now, Audie Murphy. A lot of people don't know his name anymore, and a lot of people in here do, and that's really awesome. Because most of the time I get crickets when I ask who it is. I get nothing. So it's nice to hear that somebody knows, somebody from our own neck of the woods that did something important. And he really did. And what's nice, too, for him is that he got really famous. He was on the cover of Light magazine, Those Medals. He wrote a book called To Hell and Back. It was his autobiography. And then he starred in a movie based on his book, portraying himself. He was in a lot of movies around that time. You know, that's something neat because most military folks never, ever get recognized. They do their jobs every day. 30 million people in America, 330 million people in America never know that they're doing it. But we sure do sleep safely and soundly in our beds at night. All these people are working that we don't know about. Nameless faces. But he got a name attached to his face, a very famous name. Now, it's really not important though. Being famous, not important. What is important is he stood in a room like this on the day that he shipped out, and he raised his right hand and he made a promise, just like you're going to swear. You're swearing an oath in a few minutes. Same way, to defend our Constitution against all enemies. And then he did it. And it says everything about the kind of person you are and how you deal with the promises you made. So, as you raise your right hand, think back to how few people take care of us, because that's you. We're dependent on you. So, when you make your promise today, make it with the intention to keep it, because we need you to. That's what we need. You got 330 million Americans dependent on you. So do what you need to. And I'm going to right now thank you for volunteering in the first place, and I'm going to thank you before you even get a chance to keep your promise, because I know you will. Now, thank you very much. I have two questions I have to ask. Have you been briefed on, and do you understand the DoD separation policy, restrictions on personal conduct in the armed forces, and UCMJ Articles 83, 85, and 86?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone have any questions or reservations or reluctance to enlisting at this time?
No, ma'am.
All right, here we go. Group, attention. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I
do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. And that I will obey the orders. Of the President of the United States. And the orders. and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulations, and the Uniform Code, of military justice. So help me God. Lower your hands. Fall out. Now fall